Hey, come dive with me. Let's see what we can find. I went on this dive New Year's Day with my dad, just south of the Pompano Beach Pier in South Florida. And just a few minutes into our dive, I'm already able to find a spiny lobster. My wife and I have a tradition of lobster on New Year's Eve, so we left this one alone. We were in about 25 or 30 feet of water. It was a really clear day, and there was a lot of soft coral and habitat for the fish. Here are a couple of more fishies you can see. Here's a parrotfish just munching on some of the coral. Here's another one, and as you can see, the soft coral helps to provide food, but also shelter as he swims away from it. There were some pretty mature looking coral structures at this dive. Here's another arch like the one that I waved through at the beginning of the video. Incredible sea fan here. Wow. Some more gorgeous looking corals here. I was so happy to start the new year off with this dive. As a South Floridian and as someone who works in politics and really cares about the environment and its preservation and believes in the man-made climate change that is leading to a real mass extinction globally, it's important to have things to hold on to as well, and to really have things to remain positive about and to take in the natural beauty all around us, because it's a reminder of everything that we need to fight to preserve for the next generation. I was showing my wife some of these dive videos, and she said, just imagine what it looked like even 10 years ago. And I really want to concern myself with what this reef is going to look like 10 years in the future. No invasive lionfish on this dive either, and we saw a big variety of species. Another aspect about diving that I love is the meditative quality of it. The focus on the breath, breathing in, breathing out, never pausing or holding your breath, either on its inhalation or exhalation. I got into yoga a few years ago, and at first I'd never really considered yoga to be the kind of thing for someone like me, and I'm so glad when I opened my mind to it that its focus on the interior as well as the exterior, being able to control one's body and movement is so important when you're underwater. Remaining calm, enjoying your dive, regulating your breath. And wow, look at that. This is the sign of a really healthy reef. Wow. So much color. I can't even describe it, guys. The color that is filtered out through the camera doesn't even do it justice, but just watch as the soft coral waves and the ocean current. So peaceful. Such great visibility on this dive. And again, lots and lots of habitat for these fishes. This soft coral is like a nursery. If you've ever seen Finding Nemo or Shark Tales, if you're a Will Smith fan, I love the music in Shark Tale. But just look at that. Here's another really mature coral reef arch. Wow, look at that view, you guys. Unbelievable. Speaking of Finding Nemo, is that Dory down there, perhaps? Hi, Dory. Oh, bye, Dory. Check this out, you guys. Changing your depth can be just as important to changing your perspective as how far north or south along the reef you swim. Look at all of this habitat. I was down here searching high and low for more lobsters, hoping to see a nurse shark or maybe an eel. They're definitely out here. Oop, here's a little hermit crab. But they're definitely out here. We didn't see any larger species on this dive, but you will absolutely see nurse sharks, sea turtles, as you can find in some of my previous videos. And I just loved looking west back towards the shore. We took this dive in the afternoon, and the way that the light reflected back on the silhouettes of the soft coral. It looked a little bit like a spooky forest. Wow. I got my PADI certification when I was about 24, and the kick in the butt to actually make me do it after living in South Florida my whole life was that my younger brother, 14 years younger, was ready to get his at 10 years old. I always had a phobia of depressurizing my ears, but when he was going to get his, I was like, well, I really can't wait around and procrastinate on getting mine anymore. I have to get over this phobia. And guys, pushing yourself to get over those little fears, this is the result. Just look at the way the light comes in here. When you dive, you are entering another universe. And I wanted to include this clip towards the end of my dive where I found some fishing line that was just so horribly wrapped around like 8 different coral structures. There was no hope of untangling it. I didn't even have, like, my dad has a knife on his calf, but I don't have all that gear. And again, since it was the end of our dive, I just, being an inexperienced diver, wasn't really sure how to handle it, but as I was worried about that, I mean, you just can't help but take back in the beauty that you see here. So on my next dive, I'm definitely going to come prepared to cut any fishing line. Last coral shot. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.